And we are back with our 2015 honorees, and I am so honored to honor our 2015 honoree, Vanessa DeLuca. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Excellent, excellent. So now, if you've been here with us before, you know what we do. We are honoring some of the most influential women across our great nation. And here in New York City, at the headquarters for Essence, we are so excited to bring to light all of the amazing things that you have done. So now we already know how to succeed in life is you date. I know it sounds crazy, and I don't mean each other, but you have to decide that what you want is what you'll have because you're willing to work for it. You have to A, make sure you acquire the knowledge, whether formal or informal, and then once you have that knowledge, you have to actually do something with it. So take action. T, tackle every obstacle. Things will not always be the way you want, but that's okay. Either you win or you learn. You never lose. And then E, every single day do something. Commit yourself to making yourself better every single day. You are a Harvard grad, correct?
That's right, yes.
And you got your Bachelor's of Arts. Where did that come from? Was that something that you just thought of or you rolled into? How was arts one of the things that you went to study for?
A reader and loved the written word.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the things that we bonded over the years. We always had a love of reading. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we even kind of created books together. Like make our own little magazines,
Mm-hmm.
make our own. So when it came time to choose a major, at first I pivoted because I was following my father's, advice, like you need to be major in something where you can make money right away. And so I started out for about a semester as an economics major.
Oh.
And quickly realized that was not my true path at all.
No economics?
No. So I shifted,
Mm-hmm.
when I went back to school second semester, I shifted to English and American literature with a specialty in African American literature. I never looked back. And it was the best thing I could have done because it was about doing something that I was passionate about. Of course, we had to take, it was a core curriculum, so you took classes in everything,
Mm-hmm.
in science and math and all those other disciplines, but what my true love was, as it has been since the beginning, the written word, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So now, the deciding factor for you, so when you went into it, I know you said you created magazines with your mom, piecing together stories. So when you changed your major, did you ever think that you would become the editor-in-chief of, honestly, the most widely regarded, editorial magazine for African-American women? Did you ever think that, was that something you thought was?
No, I think, over the years as I figured out what different careers I could go into, what you can do with an English major, one of the areas that I felt that I could go into was magazines. I had always enjoyed magazines,
Mm-hmm.
like I said before, and I thought, well, why not try to make that a career? Why not make a career out of it? But becoming an editor-in-chief, no, I mean, I didn't plan that far ahead. I just kind of wanted to take it step by step.
Your passion kind of rolled you into your purpose, would you?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I would absolutely say that. I mean, and it didn't automatically roll me into it right away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had a lot of different detours. I mean, when I graduated from college, I didn't start right out in magazine publishing.
Oh.
I actually started out in retailing. I did that for about 7 years. So I had, a fashion background,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a fashion buyer for a while. But again, it was one of those things where it's like, it didn't quite fit. It
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel quite right.
Mm-hmm.
And so after a period of time, like about 7 years in, I was like, I think I might want to try something different. So I changed careers and I went into magazine. That's when I really started going into magazine publishing. And once I made that shift,
Mm-hmm.
it's like everything clicked.
Fell into place.
Everything fell into place automatically. Like I did not look back. I knew I was exactly in the right place I was supposed to be.
So it just felt right.
It just felt right, yeah.
And then were you terrified when you made a shift? Because a lot of people feel, I've made a decision and this is the last decision I'll ever make in life. Were you terrified or were you comfortable in knowing that you were going to something that you love?
No, I just believed that it was the right thing for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
At the time I wasn't married, I didn't have any kids. I knew I still had flexibility and time to take a different path and
Mm-hmm.
and I felt that this was the right thing. So I made sacrifices so that I could pursue what I thought was the next journey for me. So, I had my own place. I gave up my own place, moved back in with my parents, took a cut, like a major pay cut.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much I believed that this was the right thing for me to do. And I felt that because I had worked for so long and I had good work ethic and, kind of understood the corporate world, that I could apply all of that to my next position, and I would move faster because there wasn't going to be as much of a learning curve, Some of those business disciplines that you learn on any job for starting out, that you can take those same skills and apply them to other areas. You just have to kind of figure out how that's going to work for you.
And I like that. So even with spending the 7 years there, you needed that to prepare you for your next move.
Oh yeah, none of that was wasted time at all. And then, I mean, as I've learned over the years, like nothing is permanent, right? So, you may think I made this one decision and I have to stick with this one decision for the rest of my life. That is so not true. It's so not true. And it's certainly not how the behavior of people today. I mean, you could be with a company like 1 year and then bounce to another one and another one, and no one even blinks an eye anymore.
Yeah.
So, actually being nimble and being open to being flexible and shifting and according to where the winds take you or where the opportunities take you, I think is a really great quality to have.
And I really like that shift to where the opportunities take you. So I'm going to borrow that. I always take jewels every time I do an interview with you guys, because you're absolutely amazing, amazing women. I always take some jewels, so I'm going to take that one.
You have my permission.
Thank you. I'll give you credit, but I am going to borrow that. Borrow, not take. Take is such a bad word. Borrow. So then now, acquiring the knowledge that it took, and you delved into it a little bit, in that you said you worked as a fashion buyer in the beginning. You, of course, started educating yourself with your mom, and you didn't even know it, creating magazines and things. But what are some of the other ways in which you acquired knowledge once you decided to make that career shift? What are some of the other ways in which you acquired knowledge to get to this point?
Well, I'm always a believer in education, continuing education. So even during the time when I was working in retailing, I was taking classes at night, just kind of one-off classes on whatever interested me, whether it was like a copywriting class or a fiction writing class or whatever. Just because I enjoyed writing that much, I wanted to just, still have a piece of that, be a part of my life. So I think that was, just that intellectual curiosity is what made it so much easier for me to kind of dive into whatever just kind of happened to come my way, because you're just automatically trying to satisfy an interest.
Over your illustrious career, I'm pretty sure you've had some obstacles. So what are some of the ways in which you tackle obstacles, considering they will come? What are some of the ways in which you tackle some of your obstacles?
Sometimes it's just being still for a minute and just really seeing, okay, is this really an obstacle? Or does this just mean that I have to spend a little bit more time thinking about how I'm going to approach it? Is this something where I can't move any further? Or is this something where I have to kind of find an alternate path? Or I have to leapfrog? Do I have to get people to, help me with it? Do I have to ask for help? There's all those considerations to an obstacle. And sometimes, I feel like obstacles are just, it's just an opportunity waiting to happen and you're just not ready for it yet. So, for example, I tried out for this position 2 times before I actually got it. And so I could have seen that as an obstacle. I could have seen that as, of course it was disappointment. Of course there was, why am I not ready, and that feeling of rejection. But then, you take a step back and it's like, okay, well, maybe the timing isn't right for this. Maybe there's still some other things I need to learn. So let me just be open to that.
And not giving up, too. Because imagine if you had given up that first time.
Well, that's right. If I had given up entirely, then I definitely would not be where I am in this seat right now. That's for sure.
Now, with the tenacity that you have, what is it that you do every single day to continue to evolve and grow your dreams? What is it that you're doing every day?
I guess lately it's more about how am I continuing to grow? How am I continuing my education? So it's not necessarily taking classes anymore. It's being in social media, right? So,
Yes.
It literally is constantly seeing what people are doing in the social media space, and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and et cetera, and on and on and on. Because that's the most instant way to get a pulse on what's going on, not just in the world, but in particular with the Essence family. you know, our audience is very vocal,
Yes.
very engaged,
Yes.
very loyal, but very outspoken.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I literally spend a good part of the morning just going through all of the tweets and messages and comments that people are leaving on about the stories that we're doing or things that we're covering, because I really care about what they have to say, and I want to make sure that we're getting it right. Yeah, so that's, you know, that to me, that's critical to doing a good job.
Yeah, and it's critical for growth. So I
Yes.
love that. I love that. So then now, no one gets to any great place without having mentors along the way. Who are some of your mentors?
Well, aside from my mom, of course, you know,
Yes.
she's my number one mentor, still is, you
Mhm.
know, just really an amazing woman and super smart, smartest person I know. I've had other mentors professionally
Mhm.
who have, at different times, kind of come in and come out of my life and just offered that, you know, that one note of either reassurance or a suggestion. I think about she doesn't work for Time Inc. anymore, but there was an editor I worked for when Life was still around.
Mhm.
And she was one of the main ones encouraging me to think about going from writing to editing.
Mhm.
So when I worked at Life, I was a senior writer,
Mhm.
and I really wasn't thinking that much about editing at all. I mean, I just didn't see myself doing it. He said, you know, you really have kind of a mindset for this.
Mhm.
You know how to think the way an editor should be thinking.
Mhm.
You have kind of a bigger, broad view. You know, you know how to approach something with a bigger picture,
Mhm.
and you should think about it. And you know, after saying nah, nah, nah for a while, I started actually really listening to her, and I do think that her encouragement, as well as encouragement from a lot of other people, including teachers that I had at Columbia Grad School Journalism, and have really helped me to see that the one thing that I thought I was going to focus on, that, you know, you can focus,
do
it
some
can
more.
be, yeah, it can be bigger than
Think
that.
bigger.
You can think bigger, right. And sometimes that's all it takes is for somebody to just
Yeah.
tell you that.
Yeah, that if this is an option for you.
Exactly. So you can
Excellent.
see the other possibilities. And
Mhm.
sometimes that's what's great about having a mentor or a sponsor, someone that's just kind of letting you know that there is more, that you have more ways to grow.
You were, like you said before, you were open to it. Because what good is a mentor or a sponsor if you're not open to what they say?
Well, sure. I mean, you know, of course, this same mentor that I mentioned at Life, she also told me, you know, you're not going to be a star writer. You're not. And that hurt. Like, oh my gosh, really? Seriously? Wow. I mean, I thought I was going to write the great, you know, all writers think you're going to write the next great American novel or whatever, right? So, but I had to kind of take that in and compare myself to my peers and really listen and hear her. So you can't just be, you know, you just can't keep your ears open to the stuff that you want to hear. You got to keep your ears
Every
open
day.
to the stuff that you may not want to hear, but may actually be the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then now, if you could describe yourself, and I know this is going to be difficult for a writer, especially an editor-in-chief, in 6 words, using 6 words only, what would it be?
Okay. Well, it's kind of my mantra.
Mhm.
So it's winners never quit, quitters never win.
I love
And I always
it.
think about that especially when I'm in a situation where I just feel like, oh God, I just don't know what to do. Like, should I just give up? And it's kind of like, no, because I want to win.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't just want to win for myself. I want to win for Essence family. I want to win for my own personal family. I want to win for Black women. I want to win for all of us. So I really can't afford to quit.
Very true. Very true. Okay, so winners never quit, quitters never win. Okay. And then now, and I, of course, want to thank you so much for even giving us this time here, because I totally understand that you are extremely busy, so thank you. But I have one last question. If you could tell anything to your younger self, what would it be?
I'd say be patient. You know, I had an elder tell me once, don't rush your life, right? And at first when they said it to me, I was young, so I was like, I don't even know what that means. Like, why are you even saying that to me? Of course, you know, we're always in such a hurry to get to the next thing. I would tell my younger self, just be patient, because it's going to come when it's going to come. And it's okay to wait for things. You don't have to always rush to the next thing. Enjoy where you are right now.
I think, and no one of all the interviews I've done, I haven't heard that said before, because I'm a millennial, so we like it right now. Come on, hurry up. You're not here yet.
That's right.
So I like that. Don't rush your life. Enjoy the moment that you're in, primarily because you won't get it back.
That's right. That's right. You know, so you want to be able to look back and say, I remember all of these moments, not like, I don't even, you don't want to.
It was a blur.
It was a blur. Yeah.
Okay. Close out and remind you every single day to remind yourself that you are possible, simply because you are.